do I like doing this anymore? I know. Let's talk about stuff a little bit. Is she a has-been? Am I giving washed up? Maybe. Eek. We'll see if I actually open this one up to everyone, just so people can have a vibe of what it's like to see Hallease unplugged. Amen. But yeah, I wanted to get on and just talk through how 2026 is going and how I got here. And when I say how I got here, your girl's looking for a job. Yeah, your girl is out here trying to be gainfully employed in a W-2 capacity, in a clock in, clock out kind of way, in a Slack notification sound kind of way. Because the money has gotten funny and the change has gotten strange in my life specifically. And also, it's just not fun. I was talking about this on the Instagram stories because, yeah, like I said, I am looking for a job. And I'm looking for a job because, like, I'm tired. I haven't been burnt out since 2019. I feel like that's a good run, actually. And when this happened last time in 2019, I gave myself a sabbatical. I gave myself a sabbatical of 6 months where I didn't do the business to business stuff of producing for nonprofits and for-profits, being that. I think I documented it on my YouTube channel. And that was how my YouTube channel really took off. Of course, the rest of the world took a sabbatical with me because it was the top of 2020. But that was how I doubled my YouTube channel growth, was because during my sabbatical, I was like, I'm just finna do YouTube. And that felt like a vacation for me of just make YouTube videos. I love doing that. Also because I had saved up the money. I think I saved up about $20K to do my sabbatical. But because I had saved up that money, trying to grow wasn't the goal. Just having artistic practice, just having something to show up to was it. I just wanted to touch a camera again and vibe. I just wanted to vlog and vibe again. Now, this time being burnt out, I ain't got sabbatical money. Bank account is and so I realized that what I'm finna do is get a job. That's what I'm finna do. You know what I'm saying? So I've been dusting off the old resume. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my mom for making sure to distill in me to keep my CV and resume up to date. Every 8 months or so, I get a twinge of a back thought to open up my master resume and just update it for the vibes of it all. So thankfully, it's been very interesting, or easy, I should say, to pop into that and make the variations of the resume. And so I've been doing that, man. And it's also been interesting to pop into, LinkedIn, etc., and turn on all the things for finding a job and then be like, I have marketable skills? Oh, wait, I'm mid-career? Looking at job descriptions and then it being have 8 years experience. And I'd be like, 8 years? And then I do the math and I'm like, oh, I have 8 years of experience. I have more than 8 years of experience. It's I really do be forgetting I'm an adult. I'm 35. And so I just forget oh, I'm mid-career officially. Damn. And so that's been interesting, I have marketable skills. But yeah, man, I've been applying to jobs like crazy, trying to stabilize, you know what I'm saying? Between having the surgery and all of the expenses that came with that, mind you, I usually try to keep 3 to 4 months minimum of savings inside the company so that way I can weather times like this. Weather the storm of times like this. But when the times like this be lasting too long, then it's oh. And one thing about me, poverty can't find me. Poverty been trying to find me for the last year, and I've been. Poverty is catching up. I'm looking behind me, and poverty's right there. I'm whoa. So I'm looking for the full-time situation, that's a professional situation and uses my experience or whatever. But I'm also just looking for the part-time. I just need to pop in and make a quick buck. Let's vibe kind of job. I'm looking for them too, just to float so I can just float a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I definitely am grieving. I will say that. And grieving in a way that's not oh, I failed. I'm still working through the language of like how to define what I'm feeling, but it's definitely a type of grief. I've been running my own thing in some form or capacity since 2017. It's a long time. It's been almost a decade. It's been fun, but it's also a lot, you know? And I'm currently rubbing up against the like, do I like doing this anymore? I know. Especially for the past like year. Something I've realized recently is that I do like doing this, but I don't want this to be how I pay my bills. And by this, I mean content creation in general. You know, like what's happened over the past year is that I've actually been borderline a full-time content creator. You know, when I moved here to Atlanta, I didn't really get to be in my business to business game as much anymore of working with nonprofits. I just kind of recently got in with one and helping them do videos. As soon as I did that, I was like, oh, right, I do love doing this. Damn, I do love doing this. You know, it was such the that I had missed because I wasn't really doing it here in Atlanta that much. And so because of that, I've had to rely on the brand stuff. No shade to the brands, but like, you know, they have an agenda, right? They have an agenda. And it gets kind of exhausting being a walking billboard, honestly. It gets kind of exhausting being used as a springboard for marketing all the time. That just kind of sucked the joy out of it for me a little bit. And then that combined with the financials, I was like, what am I doing? What even is this? Needless to say, I'm having a very interesting Mercury in David Spade right now. You know what I'm saying? I can definitely feel a little bit of the ego death hitting me. It's also very interesting because I feel like I've seen a lot of YouTubers go through this. And I remember watching them talking about it and being like, I don't get it. And then now I'm going through it in like this kind of way, and it's different. It's definitely a different vibe from how they go through it, but like I'm going through it in this kind of way. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. The dichotomy of it all. 2025 was just rough, and I'm still recovering from it this year, 2026. We're halfway through the year, and I'm still just like, yo, when do the punches stop coming in? Oh, they don't. Damn. I will say I'm working on Complexion Law in the background, and then that's another thing too. I'm working on Complexion Law, and every time I open the project to do something, I'm just like, how do I just do this all the time? You know what I'm saying? Or now with Stumblewell doing Vanguard and doing the indie comic book thing, we're almost at our goal, which is so dope. Like, I'm so freaking excited about it. As of recording this video, we're at $5,600 out of our $7,100 goal. Really hoping that we hit it. We still got 23 days left, so like it's looking like we're finna hit it, but never say never, you know what I'm saying? Because Kickstarter's all or nothing, so you gotta hit it or you don't get it. Y'all, church, pray for me. I'm in an interesting situation. And you know, the other thing too, I think I don't know if I told y'all, I signed with a management company, and they were cool. They were pitching me like crazy. I could see, you log into a thing and you can see all the things they're pitching you for. They pitching me, man. They pitching me. And then something would come through and my manager would be like, okay, we're talking to X, Y, and Z. We're trying to hash it out. And then, yeah, a week later or so, they'd be like, oh, so they passed on the campaign, or they moved in a different direction, or looks like they're not. I was like, dang. Not me being a statistic. Oh, hate to see it. It's interesting. It's interesting to be like basically an actor, you know, like sometimes as an actor, you get thrown into the mix just so a brand or a director can just see what they don't want, you know, or what they think they want, what they don't want. And sometimes you just serve as that. At first I was like, man, nobody liked me. Ow. But then I was also like, I'm not for everybody. So that's cool. I think the struggle I'm having is that I'm from old school YouTube, where being on the internet and being an interneter was about, first and foremost, authentically expressing yourself, coupled with building community, I think. Now, in the age of the internet, you know, it's about accumulating following and how many zeros can you add behind that brand deal you got, and like X, Y, and Z. How can you monetize your audience as much as humanly possible for others, and then I guess for yourself. And I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not my faith. And so I'm really just having a come to Jesus moment on it of like, okay, well, girl, if it's not your fave, then so point of the story, had to let go of the management. Because, you know, they're taking a percentage. It doesn't sit well in my spirit to have your management take a percentage of brands you had already had before they managed you. You know what I'm saying? Again, no shade to them, but that's just how it works, being non-exclusively managed or exclusively managed. And so I was like, yo, y'all, we gotta invoke this 30-day thing. I gotta dip, because y'all taking a bit. Y'all taking a huge chunk of stuff I would have got anyway. It's not a good look for me. The money's getting funny. The change is getting strange. So I recently just did that. Had to phase down the management, you know what I'm saying? Everything with that. Do some real adult termination type stuff, you know? And then I've also been going through Stumblewell, like everything that Stumblewell pays for every month. And then I'm like, do I need that? Why am I paying for? Let's get rid of that. Let's shut that off. Phasing down the company. It's not going away. Let me lead with that. It's not going away. But as I look for a full-time job, I need to phase it down and not have it be coming off so big. Interestingly, I kind of see getting a full-time job like having another sabbatical. Like just taking the edge off of worrying about the finances all the time, which again has been the struggle for me for the past about year and a half. Like I'm not destitute or anything, but it's definitely I don't like running my creative business in a month-to-month capacity, which is like where I'm kind of at running my creative business. That's new territory for me. I don't like it. I don't like it over here at all. Here's the thing. In verdad, I really should have had my surgery and then cut back on everything and given myself the sabbatical then. Like I should have just used the surgery as a time. And you can't live in shoulda, coulda, woulda. But like I really do think that would have been a good thing for me to just have the surgery and then be like, hey y'all, I'll see y'all like next year. You know what I mean? Because I was basically trying to do that. Like I kept taking these stints and these breaks because I was already tired, coming out of the surgery and everything. I was already tired. And then 2025, there's a lot of other personal stuff. I think I've talked about some of it here with y'all, but not all of it. But I was going through, we were going through some personal stuff. I'm saying people dying. I was at funerals a lot. I was stiff upper lipping it a bit too much. It's definitely caught up with your girl. I've just been phasing it down, dusting off the old resume, applying to stuff, finding joy in the work that brings me joy, which is like Complexion Law, vlogging just a vlog. And I got a couple of contracts I'm finishing out. By Q4, I got to figure myself out, or it's gonna be egads. We're in dire straits. it's gonna be given dire straits. For better or worse, I'm adulting, y'all. I'm doing some adult stuff. But I'm around. That's also part of the reason why the Patreon has been crickets, bro. Because it's like focus has left the chat. Even doing the most basic things to keep the lights on with the company, I'm just like, I can't be bothered. Like, I'm just so freaking tired. I'm burnt out. That is really like what it is. And then like, I'm sad. I'm grieving this version of myself, I think. That I can tell like, the version of me that was very fueled by running my own thing and having everything that I've built so far. And now I've changed. I'm a different person. This new version of me doesn't like how things are currently going and doesn't want to do it. And so it's like, okay, girl, but like, we got to figure it out though. And it's like, do we? And it's like, girl, yeah. It's interesting. A lot of internal turmoil and then also external because again, finances. So yeah, man, church, pray for me. I'm going to figure it out. Something else I have been doing, if you follow me on the gram and the TikTokies, then I recently commissioned Leslie to recut the vertical version of This Could Have Been an Email and have been posting that to Instagram and TikTok because I realized man, it's been long enough. Let me just put this out in a different kind of way again and just see how it's received. And so I've been doing that. It's been fun to see people react and see people remember and be like, oh my God. And so I'll probably do it again with episode 2. I'll break it up into a series of verticals and episode 3 as well. And then, yeah, maybe by then I'll have figured my life out a little bit and I can start writing episodes 4 and 5 as verticals, like turn the original scripts Evelyn and I did into a vertical version. And maybe I can get my coins right by then and we can do something with that. And see, that sounds fun. God. Mr. Hallease is good. Is he though? Oh, don't lie now. Is Mr. Hallease good? He's pressed. He's stressed at his job too. Him and I are good. Don't get scared. Working in healthcare is really stressful right now for like everyone. If you know a nurse, an MA, a doxa, give them a hug because they are all stressed the fuck out right now. They are literally watching our healthcare system crumble in real time and are like working through it crumbling actively around them. They are not doing okay. It's just an interesting ego deathy kind of time. Again, this Mercury in retrograde, microblades, David Spade. When does this end? Lord, Mercury. Seemingly when it's like I'm working on things that are fulfilling and happy to me and blah, 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 all that. What's been interesting is like how nothing goes wrong. How things just be working out. And there's like no friction. You know what I'm saying? The hoodoo voodoos of it all. Very fascinating. When does this end? July 23rd. Oof, we're getting down to the wire. We still got 10 more days of this. Today's the 13th as of recording. We still got 10 more days of this foolishness. Lord have mercy. All that to say, I'm Hallease, endeavoring to persevere as always. Thank you for entertaining my ramblings. I might open this one up to everybody. Hallease being probably a little too real. Hallease Unplugged. Because I just don't like lying. I'm just one of them people that's just like, here's what's going on with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid to tell y'all how much I'm making, and I'm not afraid to tell y'all how much I'm not making. You can't be no one can stop me. I'm all the way up all the time. You know what I'm saying? You got to have the valleys. Thoughts, questions, concerns, meditations, affirmations are always appreciated down below. The endeavor continues. We going to endeavor to persevere. And I'm going to figure out a way to take a nap. I really will.